I find that I look back to history and to literary history and to models. Really, I'm looking to find strength in models and in our history. So I, of course, turn to Thoreau, and we think of him as some sort of paragon of masculine wilderness conquering or something. But that wasn't Thoreau. He faced a lot of death in his life, and he was surrounded by tragedy. In his era, it wasn't the coronavirus, it was tuberculosis. But Thoreau lost his sister to tuberculosis, he lost his father to tuberculosis, and he lived almost his entire adult life with latent tuberculosis himself, knowing that he was extremely vulnerable. And so when he went to Walden Pond, it was really a project of grief and of mourning and of figuring out how to make sense of life when you know how fragile it is. And we're all being reminded of that right now. So when he says things like, we need to live in the nick of time and we need to live deliberately, he's reminding us that all we ever have is the present moment in time. And I don't say that to be depressing or to have a dark view, but I say that because it's true. And what we most need to do is find ways to find joy and feel compassion and just appreciate what we have, even if what we have is just out a window or just the sounds out a window. We can find meaning there. He wrote this beautiful thing in an essay called Walking. He said, above all, we cannot afford not to live in the present. Above all, we cannot afford not to live in the present, because that present moment was so crucial to him to finding meaning. I've been thinking about how this whole challenge globally is a liberal arts experience. But this crisis asks us to think about everything from epidemiology, obviously human biology, to population interaction, to social policy, to ethics, individual ethics in maintaining effective social distancing, to psychology. Where do we draw on our own spiritual centers to find mental balance in this time of such anxiety and such uncertainty? So a liberal arts education asks us to think across all these disciplines all the time and to find ways of connecting them. It's unfortunate that the virus draws on those capacities so heavily, but we're well served by the ways in which we're encouraged to think through the liberal arts.